so much for being here, sir. We appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you, Derek.
We move on. Okay, dumpster diving, that's one thing, but selling the stuff you pull out of there, especially meat, well, now that is taking things to a whole new level. And that's the accusation now facing a guy named Rodney Sparks, who runs a discount food store in Front Royal, Virginia. He is charged with selling bad meat that an inspector called putrid and unhealthful. But Sparks says he's never gone dumpster diving for meat, and he stands behind everything he sells. Food other businesses would have thrown away, he says, because the box was damaged or the sell-by date was about to expire.
I'm not interested in getting rich. I was trying to help out, the people that needed the help.
It really helps the community, because see, people like me that's not working and they have families around here.
What about the meat?
No, I ain't never had no issues with the meat.
So this is June 9th. You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Well, the authorities do have some issues with the meat, and Sparks got a pretrial hearing set for next month. Well, still to come, Maryland's only ski resort.
Rel McNeil got a hold of that weapon and shot himself.
Well, tonight, a Front Royal man is charged with a crime that's nothing short of disgusting.
He's accused of getting some meat from a dumpster, then repackaging it to sell in his discount store.
Ew.
Saray Chen talked with the accused store owner.
Rodney Sparks has owned the shop for about a year. He's accused of dumpster diving at places such as Food Line and Safeway and reselling the bad meat. But Sparks says none of that's true.
I eat the food that I sell.
Rodney Sparks arrested and charged for selling bad meat. An inspector came to your store and they said that the meat was freezer burned, putrid, decomposed, unsound, unhealthful.
I'd say that they didn't know what they're doing.
He says the inspectors were the ones who mishandled the meat. Sparks took us into his scratch and dent discount store.
I mean, I sell milk for $3.50 a gallon. It's current, it's fresh. I don't hide any dates from anybody, and I stand behind it.
Inside, he sells what commercial businesses would throw away because the boxes were damaged or the meat's sell-by date is about to expire. The Bob Evans breakfast sausage has a June 2012 sell-by date.
Once it's frozen, there is no expiration date on it.
That's true. The Food and Drug Administration has no regulation on the sell-by date, with the exception of infant formula and grade A dairy. Sparks says he's trying to run a business and help the poor.
I'm not interested in getting rich. I was trying to help out, the people that needed the help.
It really helps the community, because see, people like me that's not working and they have families around here.
What about the meat?
No, I ain't never had no issues with the meat.
So this is June 9th. You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Court papers say grocery employees saw Sparks removing food from the dumpster. As for that accusation, Sparks says he was dumpster diving, but only for dozens of rescue cats he takes care of at his Monrovia, Maryland home. You've never gone dumpster diving for meat?
No.
Sparks faces 10 counts of selling bad meat. His next court appearance is in September. In Front Royal, Saray Chen, 9 News Now.
The Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services could not comment on this case. They say the sell-by or used-by dates are voluntary, again, with the exception of dairy and infant formula.
Well, a very scary day for some employees at D.C.'s Department.
Apparently is saying that no one has paid for these signs. Also new at 11, a Maryland man is accused of trying to resell meat that has been thrown away in garbage dumpsters. That's right. Law enforcement says that Rodney Sparks took meat from supermarket dumpsters in Berryville, Virginia for over 6 months and then resold that meat in a store that he was running nearby. Virginia's Office of Meat and Poultry Services says the meat appeared unfit for human consumption. Sparks is now facing several charges and is scheduled for a pre-trial hearing next month. Country music singer Randy Travis is out on bail
hold a
tonight.
ceremony in honor of the 6 people killed tomorrow.
The owner of a Virginia discount store is in some serious trouble tonight for the way he may have obtained some of his meat.
I'm Saray Chen in Front Royal, Virginia, where the owner of this shop is accused of dumpster diving and reselling bad meat. Rodney Sparks says that's not true. You've never gone dumpster diving for meat?
No.
Rodney Sparks arrested and charged for selling bad meat. An inspector came to your store and they said that the meat was freezer burned, putrid, decomposed, unsound, unhealthful.
I'd say that they didn't know what they're doing.
Inside, he sells what commercial businesses would throw away because the boxes were damaged or the meat's sell-by date is about to expire. The Bob Evans breakfast sausage has a June 2012 sell-by date.
Once it's frozen, there is no expiration date on it.
That's true. The Food and Drug Administration has no regulation on the sell-by date, with the exception of infant formula and grade A dairy. Sparks says he's trying to run a business and help the poor.
It really helps the community. Because, see, people like me that's not working and they have families around here.
What about the meat?
No, I ain't never had no issues with the meat.
In Front Royal, Sarai Chin, 9 News Now.
Well, there were some warnings.
A Frederick County man faces criminal charges after allegedly selling rotten meat from a supermarket garbage bin. Rodney Sparks of Monrovia runs a discount food store in Front Royal, Virginia. A state food inspector says Sparks sold meat that was misbranded, uninspected, and appeared unfit for human consumption. Investigators traced the meat to Food Lion stores in Virginia, and court papers say grocery employees saw Sparks removing food from the dumpster. He says workers gave him the meat, and any food he took from trash bins was to feed the rescue cats at his Maryland home. The FDA has no regulation on the sell-by date, with the exception of infant formula and grade A dairy.
I mean, I sell milk for $3.50 a gallon. It's current, it's fresh. I don't hide any dates from anybody, and I stand behind it.
Sparks says he just wants to help the poor. He faces 10 counts of selling bad meat. His next court appearance is in September. A sleepy tourist causes a commotion at the international
And another
airport.
8-year-old boy who is in his care. Well, dumpster diving, that's one thing. But then selling the meat you pull out of there, that's taking things to a whole new level. But that is exactly what Rodney Sparks is accused of, selling bad meat that an inspector called putrid. Sparks runs a discount food store in Front Royal, Virginia. He says he's never gone dumpster diving for meat, and he stands behind everything he sells. Food other businesses would throw away because a sell-by date was about to expire.
I'm not interested in getting rich. I was trying to help out, the people that needed the help.
It really helps the community. Because, see, people like me that's not working and they have families around here.
Sparks does have a pretrial hearing set for next month. Well, this is a story.
A Maryland man is accused of trying to resell meat after it was thrown in the trash. Police say that Rodney Sparks took meat from supermarket dumpsters in Virginia and resold it in the store that he was running. Inspectors say the meat was freezer burned, decomposed, and overall unfit for human consumption. The meat was resold at a storefront in Virginia, Front Royal, Virginia. Prosecutors in Virginia say there is no evidence that Sparks tried to sell any of the meat here in Maryland. He is currently out of jail on bail, but he faces 1 to 5 years in prison on each of the 10 counts. And there's also some bad news from Maryland.
New at 5:30, a store owner accused of dumpster diving for rotten meat. Why he claims he was just trying to help people.
You're headed down. I'm Janice Parkoff. More on a Frederick County man facing felony charges and what it has to do with a dumpster like this one. That's coming up after the break.
Next Day Blinds. Exactly right. Completely you.
It's a crime that may turn your stomach. A Frederick County man is facing felony charges accused of selling rotten meat. Janice Park is live in North Baltimore to show us how he's getting accused of getting the tainted food. Janice.
Hi, Karen. Well, investigators say that Rodney Sparks has been going into dumpsters like this one at Food Lions and Safeways trying to resell expired meats. But tonight he says he's just trying to help the poor.
I eat the food that I sell.
Rodney Sparks has been running a discount food store in Front Royal, Virginia for the past year. I went to Sparks' home today near Frederick. He has been arrested and charged for selling what inspectors call decomposed and putrid meat.
Yeah, that's absolutely disgusting, in my opinion. I don't want to eat anything like that.
Because I wouldn't want to get a hold of eating that meat,
A state food inspector says Sparks sold meat that was misbranded, uninspected, and unfit to eat. They traced the meat back to several Food Lion stores in Virginia, where workers say Sparks is known for dumpster diving.
I mean, I sell milk for $3.50 a gallon. It's current, it's fresh. I don't hide any dates from anybody, and I stand behind it.
Sparks says he never sold unsafe products. As for the dumpster diving, Sparks says he only did it to get food for the dozens of rescue cats that live on his property. Sparks admits he sells damaged goods and meats about to expire to help out the poor. Grateful customers like Louise Burnett.
It really helps the community. Because, see, people like me that's not working and they have families around here.
What about the meat?
No, I ain't never had no issues with the meat.
And Sparks is due back in court September 18th. We're live tonight in North Baltimore, Janice Park, Fox 45 News at 10.
All right, thank you, Janice. A scary situation at Dulles.
And an update now on a story you saw first right here on WUSA 9. And before we get started on it, we want to warn you, there are some pretty graphic images in this one. A Monrovia, Maryland man accused of selling dumpster meat in his Front Royal discount store. Rodney Sparks pled guilty to selling the bad meat months ago, but as Saray Chin tells us, he may be at it again. And neighbors who were concerned caught him red-handed with his hands in the dumpster.
Those are oranges.
Michael Trumbull says he and his son took this video of his neighbor dumpster diving for food at a Frederick Aldi grocery store. Not once, but 5 times this summer.
Anything he can find. I mean, he you know, it's like an auction to him, whatever's there.
I was just kind of blown back. I was like, wow, it's true. He's really doing it.
There's nothing illegal with dumpster diving, but who or what is getting the food? That is unclear, but he's been charged with not keeping records of where his food comes from.
Hamburger buns, looks like bagels, lots of bagels.
The Trumbulls videotaped the dumpster before Sparks arrived May 3rd.
Right now, he has a grabber, and he's pulling the food items that we just saw earlier out of the dumpster.
When we talked with Rodney Sparks, who owns this Front Royal, Virginia store called Rodney Sparks Discount Foods last year, he said the meat was for his cats. You've never gone dumpster diving for meat?
No.
You can clearly see in this video he pulls out oranges, berries, and pineapples. Sparks has been accused of getting meat from a dumpster. Clearly see in this discount store. Inspectors say the meat was putrid, decomposed, and unhealthy. Michael Trumbull became concerned when dead cats started showing up at his doorstep. Then he saw our story and really became upset.
You don't know where it's been before it was put in the dumpster and who's ending up eating this food.
We wanted to talk to Sparks, but he's not home. He's in jail again. He pleaded guilty to last year's charges, 10 counts of distributing tainted meat, while he was on probation when he was arrested again this week on similar practices. 4 misdemeanor counts on misbranding of food and no record of where and when he got the food. Inside his store, he sells what grocery stores throw away, damaged cereal boxes, or the meat's sell-by date is about to expire. This frozen sausage had a June 2012 expiration date.
Wasn't sure where it was going.
In Monrovia, Maryland, Saray Chin, WUSA 9.
Well, new tonight at 11, some very
opportunity to demonstrate you're truly supporting existing small businesses. Rodney Sparks is running a business on Daisy Court, and he's protected by the 14th and the 4th Amendment. I would hope the commissioner present could explain how he is protected, and no Frederick County inspections go in for health and safety. Commissioner Young, would you like to address that?
Sir, is this germane to this discussion?
I could go and make
something
Ted
that's
and Paul
happening
Cruz
on
look like
Daisy
amateurs.
Court in Monrovia is not germane to what's happening on this particular site plan.
Well, again, I oppose this new gas station. Everybody's watching out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Anybody have a question for me? I have thick skin, so it doesn't matter.
That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Mordell.
You know, the gentleman that came forward about the property on Daisy Court, Monrovia, he has a petition with 39 citizens that signed it. He states problems as commercial vehicles with no tags, running a kennel without a license, and dead cats, and he can't seem to get any movement on this. They're all violations under our zoning ordinance. So I don't know why the county's not investigating it. You know, I think at this point there are so many property rights issues out there that the council should really look at legislation to create like a people's court. Because right now the citizens have nowhere to go. There's no format that exists on this council for the citizens to come here and both sides of a, you know, an argument to be heard by everyone. And there's no responsibility and no oversight within the county. issues like this has been going on forever. I remember being contacted about this maybe a year or so ago, and nothing's been done. It's absolutely ridiculous. There needs to be responsibility of the county government, and they need to report to the public, and they need to report to the council. And we need to figure out what's going on. Maybe he's not doing anything wrong. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. But we need to figure it out, and we need everyone to hear both sides of the story. But when 39 citizens come to us and we say, yes, thank you for giving this to us, and then we move on, that's not acceptable in my book. And I think Paul's a great guy, and I think he'll look into it, but we're never going to hear about it again. So I'd like to have reporting to the council on open issues like this that come to us, at least at every public hearing, so we can figure out what's going on. Property rights in this county are being trampled on right now, and no one cares, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So I think we should, start looking at some kind of court, people's court, where the citizens can come up here, we can listen to both sides of the issues, and make sure the county is doing what they should, because right now it's absolutely not happening.